Hello everybody and welcome to Daytona for the 7th race of the Night Racing League Sports Car Championship. We've been in Florida for 4 weeks, and this, not only the penultimate race in Season 1 of the Sports Car Championship, but everybody here, almost to a driver, is getting ready for the 24 hours in 1 week's time. This is the perfect event to get the setups worked out. There's a new BOP that everybody's getting up to speed with, and everybody's scrambling to get their setups, and a perfect triple and quadruple stint opportunity here in the 2 hours at Daytona. Let's have a look at the points coming into this race. Nathan Jew has won the LMP championship, and this incredible battle for second place continues. Andre Heinrich in the 32 with a 4-point lead over Thomas Brommel. Then it's Dennis Rotter, Paul Seeley, Andreas Schwartz, Keith Rainey, all close on the circuit, all looking for that top 5 position. GTE, it's a 1-point lead for Jennifer McDonald over Alexander Schleicher in the 108. Kevin Hensel and Hayden Fowler, teammates next week at Daytona, separated by 6 points. Then we've got race winners Connor Seidel just behind Jens Wolters by 1 point. Toby Seninger, last race winner, sits in 7th. As we said, it's 2 hours around this road circuit here at Daytona. Let's check out the starting grid for today's race. Andre Heinrich has the 32 car on pole with a 132.901, just 77 thousandths ahead of championship winner Nathan Jew in the 81. Newcomer Dean Zayats is inside of row 2 with a 133.206. Dennis Rotter in the 11 will line up alongside. 133.344 for Thomas Brommel, who's supposed to line up beside Dawson Hess in the 67, but he's had trouble getting to the grid, some equipment problems. He's going to have to start from pit road. Row 4 has Jean Bambois beside Paul Seeley, with Andreas Schwartz lining up beside the 37, Nick Mannery. Dean Ellico is in row 6 with Keith Rainey, and David Sockrider rounds out a 13-car field in LMP. Field will switch sides with the pole sitter on the left. In GTE, it's Jens Wolters on pole with a 139.944, with championship leader Jennifer McDonald just behind with a 140.047. Toby Seninger lines up with Alexander Schleicher in row number 2, with Hayden Fowler and Chris Costa in row 3. Kevin Hensel has a 141.075 on the inside of row 4, who will line up alongside the 111 of Mark Sonnen. Newcomer from Sweden, Robin Johansson, will line up inside row number 5. He'll line up beside the 59 of Steve Groniga. Chris Thompson and Connor Seidel, who did not set a time in qualifying, will line up in row 6, as we're set to do 2 hours around the road course here at Daytona. And as the field starts to grid up here, we get ready for 2 hours at Daytona. Nathan Jew in a different livery than you saw in that pack. He switched to an all-black livery. He switched teams here, getting ready for the 24 of Daytona. So an all-black 81 here in the race. The car's lining up in the back straightaway, and this should take us a long way to finding out who wins the GTE championship today. Very, very close. All the top runners in the field today. And we're just about ready to get going here. And you can see the empty grid slot for Dawson Hess in row number 3. But they are going to be able to get that car onto pit road, so hopefully we'll see Dawson joining in at the back of the field. It's actually a rule in this series that you cannot start from pit road in LMP, but obviously if you're having disconnection issues or something We hear his computer froze at the end of qualifying, so not sure what happened there, but he will be allowed to join the field. As we are now rolling. And a good-sized field. We figured we would have a large group here as everybody getting ready for the 24 hours next weekend. And a perfect night simulation here. It'll be a 4-stint race for the LMPs, not a full 4-stint. Will be a shorter fuel on the end. And it should be a great battle here as we try to decide the second place, second, third, fourth, and fifth, all in the LMP. All the drivers here today, so we'll get a very good idea of what's happening. And we are green. Heinrich leads him down into turn 1. Nathan Jew drops down into single file. The GTEs are started in behind. As we've got action in the back. As off goes Andreas Schwarz. The GTEs coming into turn 1. Everything looks nice and clean in the GTEs as Jan Wolters leads Toby Seninger down into the International Horseshoe. Back up front, Heinrich leads Jew and Brommel. Sorry, Dean Zayats in third, then Brommel. Zayats, the new driver here in the league, very quick. Originally applied to this league and was turned away. He had an I rating above 33,000, but the league has gotten quicker, the drivers faster, and as we open up the LMPs for Season 2, Dean was invited back, and it's great to have him here. He will be a front runner in the LMP class. As we come around to complete lap number 1, and it's Nathan Jew on the outside. Having a look at Heinrich, who's going to protect that inside line. There is Hess coming out in the 67, so he has made it back. He's going to be a lap down, but good on him for getting onto the track and trying to get this 2 hours in. Up front, Jennifer McDonald past the 28 of Hayden Fowler as we complete lap number 1 in the GTEs. Wolters leads Seninger. There's McDonald. Fowler is 4th. Jean Bambois in 5th place in the 681. Ahead of Dennis Rotter in the 11th. In the 11. And we've had issues already in the back. Schwarz, as you can see, is in the pits after that lap 1 incident. And we're hearing that damage might actually be bad enough to retire the car, so we're going to wait and see on that. Lap 2 completed of the LMPs, and it's turning into a very close battle here for 4th place. Brommel leading Bambois, Rotter, and Mannery is by Seeley in behind there. As Jennifer McDonald now starts to have a look at the back of the 91 of Toby Seninger. Meanwhile, back in the pits, Mark Sonnen has made it back into the pits. So, bad luck for Sonnen there. He's in the pits getting that fixed up. As Dawson Hess now, he'll have to be very careful here. He's running a lap down. And we'll just make sure he treats this lead group with, a little wide on the outside, but meanwhile, back up front, Jens Wolters looking to get a little bit closer to that battle. He's within 31 points of the lead of the championship. As McDonald continues to hound Seninger there in second place. As we come back up to the bus stop, the race lead, top three within 0.8 of a second as they enter the bus stop. Heinrich, Jew, and Zayats. And then it's an equally close battle in behind. As Brommel, Bambois, and Rotter all within 1 second of each other. There they are. Hayden Fowler running fourth, just starting to drop a little bit off the back of Jen McDonald. Connor Seidel, we see in the timing screen, starting to move up. He did not put a qualifying time in, and we've seen that before as well, so I'm not sure if that's just a strategy for the long endurance races, as taking out a cone there for Fowler, and he's gone right to the top of the screen. They talked about this in the drivers' meeting. If you get a slowdown through the bus stop, that you're to move up high. And here comes Kevin Hensel, and he will take that fourth position. So it looks like a slowdown penalty there for Fowler. As we check back in with the front of the LMP field. Nathan Jew just a quarter second in behind Heinrich. Heinrich trying to cement this second place in the championship. He's had 3 podiums and a 4th place finish in the last 4 races, including that race win last time out at Sebring. As we look back in at Hayden Fowler and his teammate, trying to get back into the tow and possibly get himself back into that 4th place. As we're just seeing a car up the circuit there. I'm trying to think who that might be. Dean Ellico has dropped right off the LMP field as well. figuring that may have been connection issues. What is going on with some of the internet connections here today? That's very odd. But it was a blue car we saw up ahead there, and I think that was Ellico. He's made a pit stop. Of course, Ellico was also involved. No, that was Rainey that came across the front of Schwartz's car on that turn 1 incident. All the night racing drivers running the Daytona livery here today, or versions of it, so you will see that new blue livery for Ellico, and Rainey was already running that. As we come to the 10-minute mark. Andre Heinrich into turn 1, hounded by the 81 of Nathan June. Fowler and Hensel. And you just saw a peek of Schleicher there in behind the timing screen as that battle is close. They come by the 66 of Chris Thompson. Flashes his lights to say, you guys can have the kink. Through the bumpy turn 6 and onto the Daytona NASCAR 1 banking. Meanwhile, the 4th place crew has caught the Porsche 66. Brommel, Bambois, and Rotter will make their way through. They've pulled off a little bit of a gap there. Mannery got by Seeley early on, but it's about a 5-second gap now from 6th to 7th. We've got 3 distinct groups in the LMP field. The top 3, the second 3, and then the next 4 all running tight together. Bolters with a 1.8 second lead over Senninger. McDonald is still there. So we peek back, the back end of the LMPs now coming through. Here is the front end of the GTEs as we try to keep you updated on all the battles going around. And on board with the 99. Lap of Daytona from the 3rd place runner, the championship leader in GTE. Definitely had the toe, and you could hear the lift off, a little fuel saving. Jen has been a master at that all season long, and she looks happy to just sit in behind as Hensel is dropping back. And he is all the way down into 7th place, so an issue in turn 1 for the 94 car. And Bambois is through on Dennis Rotter to the 681, up to 5th position. Meanwhile, back further in the LMPs, there is Paul Seeley in the 72 and his teammate Keith Rainey in behind in the 6 car. And they are recatching the 37 of Nick Mannery. So they take the right-hander through the West Horseshoe. onto the banking at turn 7. There's Connor Seidel. Seems to be getting a reputation of making his way up through the field. Another non-qualifying day here for him, but he's up to 10th. And a little bit of a gap there, so maybe something may have happened somewhere to the 25. He's got about 15 seconds up to Steve Groniga in the 59 car. We saw a little fuel saving there from the 99 and the GTEs, and maybe a little bit now as we settle in at 15 minutes. This will be a 3-stop race for the LMPs, as there's newcomer Robin Johansson in the 27. Three stops with a short fill at some point for the LMPs. And of course, any laps you can gain in the tow, and there is a great tow here at Daytona. It is not difficult to save fuel if that's your goal. So we'll just see as this wears on if Nathan has an interest in getting his car out front or whether he's happy to sit behind Andre. This guy's turning 133.7s, and you can see that's the class of the field right now. 34.5 for Zayats, who has now dropped back about 3 seconds. That could have been traffic, however. There he is in the 13. But risking getting too far back and losing that tow. And Rainey is by Seeley. So Rainey has made the pass just as they approach turn number 6. Seeley in the tow as we go back to the bus stop. Sorry, back onto the front straightaway. That was coming out of the bus stop, and Seeley will retake that position. Back into 8th place as the teammates swap it back and forth. They continue to battle. Back up with Hayden Fowler now in 5th. Schleicher is by him. Hensel down to 7th. And what has gone on there? Down into turn 1. Oh, and a little bit of an outbreak there. Schleicher into the back of Hensel. Everybody scrambling. That's Costa on the outside. So back in the pack, Schleicher there with a little tap on the back end of Hensel. That's dropped the 94 all the way to 7th place. Costa up to 6th. You saw him scrambling on the outside. As we're back up front, there is Schleicher in the 108. His LMP teammate in the 32 coming by. He'll move out. The LMP's to the inside at the horseshoe. Oh, and Seeley. Seeley around. We saw Sonnen there. And that unusual is off on the brakes. Looks like he locked the rears maybe, and that's going to drop the Canadian down to 10th place here. Everybody's through. That's David Sockrider in front of him. It is cool here. There's lots of grip. Although everybody dealing with the new balance of performance, the LMPs with less horsepower, the lap times came down this week. However, it did seem to have, at least in testing, the effect of tightening the field a little bit. It seemed to affect the faster cars a little more than the slower cars, whereas there was about a 1.2 second gap in testing last week. This week, it seemed to drop to about 3/4 of a second. Maybe that will extend back out as everybody gets comfortable with the new settings. But at the moment, all that does is tighten up the competition, and we're all for that. As speaking of which, we've got all our race leaders on the same screen now. Here comes Heinrich and Jude. In front of them is Senninger and McDonald through in second. I'm really sorry we missed that. As the BMW now heads off in pursuit of the 24 of Jens Wolters. They're through cleanly. It's a 2.75 second gap from the 99 up to the 24. Here comes Dean Zayats through as well. There is your GTE leader as he comes through to complete lap number 12. Turning mid-140s, 140.6, and you can see with all that LMP traffic coming through, McDonald a 141 dead. A 141.9 for Senninger, so obviously he's had just a little bit of a wide corner or a braking point. Not far enough back to really have spun the car, but the 99 is through. Maybe somebody on the Discord can help me out with what happened there. Sorry we missed that. High-speed banking here in the toe, you can really see how tight these classes are. Really a little less than 6 seconds between the last lap times of the LMP leader and the GTE leader. We see much larger gaps on other tracks. As Brommel now has caught up and will get through before the bus stop. And there is McDonald. 3 seconds the gap now. It's going to fluctuate. Jens can pick up a little bit of a toe here. As these two have really now put their stamp on this race. 3.5 back to the 13 of Zayats now. Nathan's still looking pretty racy. He may have claimed the championship, but is not happy giving away a race win. He's going to fight for it all day long, it looks like. And I will take 2 hours of this all day, every day. Thank you very much. And we've got the race leader off in GTE. That's the 681 of Jean Bambois involved. McDonald takes the lead. Senninger in second. Down in the horseshoe, what is going on there? Wolters on the inside and just hit in the left rear corner by the 681. After last week, or last race rather, I'm sure the stewards will have a view on that. So What a shame for the 24. He's dropped down to third place. It's a 6-second gap, and we'll see how much damage. We'll keep track of Yen's lap times there. This one obviously won't matter as it'll include that spin, but we'll see when he comes around to complete lap 15 if he's any worse for wear there. As Heinrich and Ju continue this battle up front, we approach the halfway mark, or the half-hour mark. And an added bonus of the reduced horsepower, the LMPs get a little longer stint time as well, as we've got things going on all over the place and more. Rainey is around. That's Heinrich involved. Seeley is hit. Here comes Costa having to avoid more mayhem. Seeley finally gets it going. And what is going on there? All kinds of people in here. And straight up the back. I don't know what's going through people's heads on that one. We'll have to see. So that's the second time we've had the 108 up the back end of another car. So trying to stay close in this championship. McDonald now in the lead. Schleitzer running in fourth. And there's the 72. Sorry, as we're back live now. And the 6 is coming down into the pits. And we're hearing this is this a drive-through? I don't know what the lights are flashing for. Schleitzer now in the pits as well. He's probably collected enough points for a drive-through. In behind, the 72 has also been forced up. He had that early spin, remember, which would have been a 2x. Yeah, it's drive-throughs for both were triggered by that contact with the 108, so everybody's race taking a hit here. And there's a fair bit of damage on that left rear corner as well on the 72. As he almost got through that incident scene. Oh yeah, tons of damage on that 70. He's going to be back down. And yeah, I'm not sure that's going to end very well in the Stewart's run, to be honest, after watching that. As Rainey tries to get back on track, the Night Racing Esports car is now down in 9th and 10th position. Meanwhile, all this going on, McDonald promoted to the lead from an equally bizarre incident, and she now has Seninger right on her tail and in the toe. Here we go into turn 1. And Seninger will take the lead back. So the 99 drops back into what we will call fuel-saving position. That is Sockrider in the 44 coming up. He has gained 2 positions from that incident. And here comes the 72 back into the pits, and this is for damage, we hear. They're going to get that worked on. We'll see how long that takes. Meanwhile, back up front, it is Toby Seninger, race winner at Sebring. had moved himself up to 7th place in the championship. Just having a quick look. 8 points behind Seidel, who is running in 9th. So it could be a great championship day here for the 91. But lots of work yet to do with fellow race winner Jennifer McDonald just 0.3 of a second behind. There is Steve Groniga and Kevin Hensel. That's a battle for 7th in the GTE class. And as we approach the bus stop, Hensel on the inside line, he's going to get through. And you can see that car has been in the wars as well, thanks to the first incident from the 108 car. Nice. Your race leader in LMP, we got a brief look there at Heinrich. This now Mannery benefited there from that little get-together earlier, and he has taken 6th, and he's got Bambois now behind him in the 681. And quick stewards reviews coming through for that first incident. That's definitely an avoidable contact with the 24 on the inside, so that will be a 3rd incident for the 681 in 2 races, and that's going to equate to a qualifying ban for Road America as he makes the move, and Bambois will come back to 6th. And also an avoidable contact of the 108 for the contact with the 94 car. And that is his first penalty of the year, one of the cleanest drivers we've had, so very confusing what's going on. We know he had issues, he was rebuilding his rig, he just got it together for today, he was worried about his pace. Qualified quite well in the second row, but he's having a little bit of trouble braking with blue cars in front of him today. I'm not sure what that's about. As Heinrich continues to lead this battle that has never been more than 0.3 of a second. And we will prepare for pit stops. Speaking of which, the 72 is back out. And if I just have a look here, stopped for 1 minute and 40 seconds. So most of that, of course, would have been damage to that left rear corner. So we get a look at it. I actually got that pretty tidied up. So see what the lap times are and if the 72 can recover. He's actually dropped back behind most of the GTE field. We mentioned how close the lap times are between these two classes here. So that pit stop has actually dropped him. He's 10th in class, and he is behind the 9th place car in GTE for position on track. As the first of the LMPs is in the pits, that's Jean Bambois in the 681, and that seems to be a long pit stop as well. And maybe the 681 has decided to call it a day. They've certainly pulled that car to the garage. And that's okay. He's got a busy evening at the steward's room after that anyway, so. Heinrich and June continue to lead, and we're estimating in the 22 lap range. We know Nathan's been in the tow for most of this stint, so we'll see where they go. Heinrich, just off the top of my head, and I don't really have historical data in front of me, but it does seem to me he tends to go a lap longer in races. So we'll just see what the fuel saving running in second here for the 81 and where their lap times are. They're on lap 22 right now. Through turn 6. It's now a 7-second gap back to the 13 car. Brommel looks like he might be making a little bit of headway there. So we'll see if we get a battle for third shaping up there. There is Connor Seidel. And we'll see what, if you want to do any mental calculations here. That's actually a battle for 8th place with Groningen. But McDonald on 38 points. Seidel 32 behind. That's going to put him up to 8th place. Is Nathan having a look? Neither car coming into the pits, as you can see, 22 laps completed. Probably expecting them on the next lap. What a great battle this is today. Holy smokes. There's Paul Seeley. You saw him going by Kevin Hensel. Shows as a change of position, but as we get our first LMP stops now, Mannery and Sockrider in the pits. And we'll watch the leaders. We're expecting them to come down this time by. As we're into the bus stop. Oh, and we've got fun going on back here. The 27 is off. That's Robin Johansson in his first race. And just off in turn 1, we saw the same with Mark Sonnen earlier. As the leaders make it down to pit road. More behind them, Zayats and Brommel also in the top 4, and LMP all stopping after lap 23. Jennifer McDonald leads in GTE. Probably 45 minutes before we see a GTE car down. Brommel has made it to pit road as well. They all get 23 laps. And out we come. Heinrich has maintained the lead. Nathan Jew right behind him. And interesting to know, we touched on it earlier. Nathan certainly had an opportunity to save a lot of fuel in that tow, but Andre able to keep the fuel mileage even so that he could pit on the same lap. And look at that gap, 0.7 of a second. What is Nathan going to do? He's never been so far behind. Meanwhile, Rainey back in the pits. His pit schedule is all messed up from that earlier incident. Sockrider we saw there gaining a position. Here is Seninger and McDonald. It's 8 seconds back to Jens Wolter, so damage on the 24 doesn't seem to be too extensive. He's literally just a tenth off the pace of these front runners. So it looks like he may, other than track position, may have got away with that incident with the 681. Rainey coming out of the pits, stopped for 59 seconds. Let's just have a look at the regular stops. 33.5 for Heinrich, 32.8 for Nathan Jew. Although their pit road times were identical, 51.9 seconds for both of them. Zayats, Brommel, Roder, Mannery, Sockrider, all full fuel stops around the 33-second mark. And very similar times. The longest pit road time was actually Brommel at 53.4 seconds. Just about a second longer than those around him. And then after that, we get into the cars with damage, and pit times aren't really relevant. As there is Brommel coming around now to lap the 6 car of Keith Rainey. Volters continues to try and close that gap in of 140.5 last time around, and that was quicker than both McDonald and Seninger. And you kind of root for a guy there who finds himself out of position through no fault of his own, and if he can pull any of that gap in with the pit stops coming, that'll make a nice three-way battle up there. Here is McDonald, and we'll see when the pit stops are. Right now. And there is Seninger in behind. So they get 40 minutes on a tank of fuel. Seninger right in behind. Oh, and overshoots. McDonald overshoots. They both. And here comes Volters. He's locking it up. He overshoots. Oh, my goodness. Really badly. So the top 3 all with issues. Hayden Fowler. Volters still trying to get his car correctly in the pit box. Oh, disaster. And Seninger is going to get away first. Here goes McDonald. And it's going to be a terrible pit time for the 24 car. We'll just see how that puts him down. It was about an 8-second gap to Hayden Fowler. There is Fowler, who's now out in 3rd. Finally, Volters out of the pit road. 59.2 seconds on pit road. All the pit times very close in the 26-second range, so fuel only for everybody. But 15 extra seconds on pit road. McDonald also a 53.2 on pit road. So Hayden Fowler, the only one to hit his box in the top 4, actually gained a huge amount of time there. 44.8 seconds on pit road. 2 seconds quicker than even the race leader in the 91. And that is now the story. Toby Seninger. And he's got himself a gap. I don't think he would have thought that after he pulled into the pits, but it's 6 seconds on the 99 car. And Hayden Fowler must think it's Christmas, as he came in 8 seconds behind the 3rd place car and has come out of pit road with a 5-second gap. And the final podium position, there is Jens in the background coming out of NASCAR 2. Here's Nick Mannery, 6th place. And I believe we are through just checking as everybody's been down into the pits. So let's get ourselves a little bit of a race rundown. Oh my God, I've got a... get to that race rundown in a second. As everything continues to cycle through. And we're just hearing, I was just looking down through the notes, the 37. This apparently happened last lap. Just down in turn 6, that bump on the inside, and Nick having a little bit of issues. He's just coming through there again and getting by the 94 of Kevin Hensel. No harm, no foul as far as positions. He's got David Sockrider about 4 seconds behind him now. That's the 429 of Ellico, then Hensel. There is Sockrider, so there's the gap for the battle for what would be 6th place. And as we're 1 hour as we are 1 hour 14 minutes remaining, we'll give you a quick field rundown here. Your race leader, as he has been for most of the day here, 32 of Andre Heinrich, enjoying what is the largest lead he's had in the 45 minutes we've been on track over Nathan Jew in his transitional all-black livery here as he's changed teams for the 24 hours of Daytona. The gap has been 3.3 seconds for most of the day. They pit together, they came out together, and it currently sits at 1.3, but Nathan's still with a little bit of tow. Running in third in his first race in the Night Racing League is American Dean Zayats, showing very good pace and looking strong for a podium position here, just 9 seconds off the lead 2. He has a 10-second gap over the 4 car of Thomas Brommel. In 5th place, rounding out the top 5, is Dennis Rotter. He's a little less than 30 seconds off the race lead, with a quick lap of 1:34.082. 6th place is the 37 of Nick Mannery. He sits about 22 seconds back of the 11 car. We know he had just a little half spin there a couple of laps ago, but seems to be, well, he's running pretty identical lap times to the 7th place car, the 44 of David Sockrider. Nick's fastest lap is 2/10 quicker than the 44, so we'll see if he can turn that consistency into a little bit of a gap. Behind the 44 are the cars with trouble, and it starts with the 8th place car, Keith Rainey, who was spun out in the International Horseshoe on lap 16 by a GTE car. As he spun around, he collected his teammate, the 72 of Paul Seeley, who's running in 9th place. After over a minute of damage repair, and serving his first drive-through of the entire season, 72 finds himself 3 minutes off the lead and a lap down. In 10th place in LMP is the 429 of Dean Ellico, the 3rd of the Night Racing Esports cars. The rest of the LMP field has retired. Andre Schwartz from an accident on lap 1, turn 1, when he was touched in the rear of the car, came across the nose of the 6. And also the 681. The 67 has been having hardware problems, Dawson Hess, so I can only imagine that's why he's not on the track still. In GTE, it's been a heck of a race, and we just saw it all flip upside down as the cars went through pit road. Toby Senninger now leads in the 91 Porsche RSR. He has a quick lap today of 1 minute 40.363. And as I just scroll down, that is the fast lap of the race in the GTE class. And now it's a 5.5 second lead over the 99 championship leading BMW M8 of Jennifer McDonald. Behind her, it's the 28 of Hayden Fowler having another spectacular first half of the race. And sitting on a podium position after being gifted a spot as when the top three cars all missed their pit boxes. He jumped the 24 of Jens Wolters in the pits, but it's only a 3-second gap, and Wolters is quicker by 0.3 on the last lap. And if we look at the fast laps of the race, a 140.481 for Jens Wolters, a 140.891 for Hayden Fowler. So that will be a battle to watch as the 24 closes that gap which you see on screen right now. 5th place, and we have seen him dodging bullets all day long, is the 76. How's that for timing? No harm, no foul. Everything that's happened on circuit today seems to have been happening in front of the 76 car, who, by the way, we'll put a shout out, is out there with a brand new livery today. Chris Costa in the top 5. He is staying out of trouble, and let me tell you, it's been a full-time job today, but a great run so far for the 76 of Chris Costa. He has a fast lap of 141.008 and is sitting, well, just about 12 seconds behind the 24 of Jens Wolters. Behind him, also having a great run, is the 59 of Steve Groninga in 6th place. Also staying out of trouble, not collecting incident points, and he's got himself in a handy position. However, coming under pressure from the 25 of Connor Seidel, who once again is moving his way through the field up to 7th place after starting on the back row of the grid. This battle is 1 minute 22 seconds behind the lead. In 8th place, the 27 of Robin Johansson, the Swedish driver in his first race in the Night Racing League. He's got a bit of a crinkle there on the right front corner, and it's cost him a lap. But he's doing a great job here in his first run and is running in 8th place, ahead of the 66 of Chris Thompson, who's being overtaken there by Dean Zayad. Chris up into 9th. Behind that, it's been all problems. Kevin Hensel in the 94, we hear, has retired because of a DQ. We know he collected incident points early in the race when he was hit from behind. And I'm just reading through the story here. Apparently, he had to come through for a drive-through, but also had a black flag for something else. I'm not sure, but he didn't serve the correct penalty, and it seems that the sim has disqualified him for ignoring a black flag. We'll have to get to the bottom of that story. Kevin, obviously a little upset about that, but he is going to be retired in 10th place. Behind him, Mark Sonnen had an incident early on. We saw that. And the 108 has also retired after 2 incidents. And it'll be a busy stewards room. I know they want to talk to him, and especially with the significance on the championship. But the second one certainly having me scratching my head still, as we are back with our LMP leader And Heinrich has stretched that gap to 2 seconds. Nick Mannery coming up through the field. There is your LMP second place car. And it's 5.8 seconds the gap for McDonald. Not making any headway. Is Senninger being able to stretch his legs a little bit? The 72 Seeley running in 9th place. Boy, it's a big gap too. That damage repair really ruined his race. And about 50 seconds up to his teammate. He's got the toe of the leader. If you want to follow anybody and learn how to drive the line, here come two guys that you would watch all day long, the 32 and the 81. So maybe we'll see what the Canadian can do. He drops into the toe of the 81 car as we head onto the back straightaway. Past the Porsche of Johansson. And as usually happens, the race starts to settle out after the pit stops. Watch that gap. You can see 34.256 last time around for Nathan Jew. A quarter of a second quicker, and it was the fastest lap on the circuit that time around. And he's done it again, almost 9/10 of a second as Wolters is around. The 24 car in the International Horseshoe. Gets himself back going, but that is going to seriously dent his chances of catching up to the 24 car. Here he comes. You can see no real pressure there. The LMPs are already through. Just overcooked a little bit. Gets it off the circuit and straightened around, but more work to do for the 24. As back up front, there is Nathan Jew. As we said, 9/10 of a second he pulled out last time on Heinrich. And that gap is under 1.5 seconds. Seeley is holding on to the back of them. Look at that. What did his last time? His last lap time was a 140.6? Alright, that can't be. I'm not sure what that is. As Keith Rainey, that's the car the 72 would be chasing, but he's going to need a lot of help to try and get up that far. Still 7th for Seidel, and he's now dropped down a pit stop for the 25. So is that a drive-through penalty for the 25 car? As he has dropped back behind Groningen, we saw them pass on circuit. And he has served a drive-through, 17.1 seconds in the pits, no time stopped. So the 25 obviously falling foul of the 8X rule there. As Nick Mannery comes through in the banking on NASCAR 3 and 4. And he'll be up on our GTE leader. We approach the 1 hour mark here at Daytona. Coming through, Heinrich last time around did pull a bit of a gap on Jew. We'll just see what the lap times are this time. And another quick lap, and that's not going to help the 81 as he catches Costa at the wrong time. Costa actually pushes off. But Heinrich responding to the pressure from the 81 car, and 2 consecutive laps now. He's reopened that gap from 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. As there is Senninger, our GTE leader now, just coming through the bus stop. McDonald continues to reel in the Porsche. Another 2 seconds on that last lap. It was a 5-second gap, 3.7 now. So getting that done. Lots of time. There's an hour to go. We tried to give you a lap around here earlier. We're going to do it here with Nathan Jew chasing Andre Heinrich. We'll give you a lap around Daytona. As they just now come to the start-finish line. And there you have a lap with your championship leader, the 81 of Nathan Jew. That lap was a 134.2. You saw him, well, he had to deal with one car as far as overtaking, and 0.4 of a second up the road goes the 32 car. Couldn't get over how smooth the throttle application was on that lap. If you were paying attention, that goes a long way to describe, explaining the pace at the front of this field. Some great drivers in both classes in this series. Chris Costa in 5th place. And he's got himself a healthy lead over Groningen and Seidel, who is now starting to reel in that 59 car again after his drive-through. Costa's not probably going to be able to get the 18 seconds up to the 24 car here, but he's on pace for a very solid top 5 here. There's Seidel trying to make his way back through. A little bit of a wrinkle on that air dam we saw on that RSR. Chris Thompson may be doing some agricultural work for the fine folks here at Daytona. And we check in with Zayats, who's now just under 12 seconds off the lead. Nathan Jew, Seeley's into the pits. This will be his second stop. His strategy is a little out the window, so We'll see what's happening. It's a little after the halfway mark, but with an extra stop and some damage, I'm sure he's not on the original pit strategy anyway. Nick Mannery here in 6th. He's still got a 5-second gap over the 44 car, who's holding on with him. Their lap time's very close. Nick was quicker the last time around. And here is Senninger. His laps all consistently in the mid to high 40s. McDonald just a 10th quicker again last time around. The gap down to 2.5 seconds. So we are going to have a ding-dong in GTE, it looks like, before this day is over. And we'll just continue to watch that. The thing I can't wait for is the next time they all come down pit road, as we've got a car. That is Chris Thompson. We saw a puff of smoke into the bus stop, and he's pushed it off into the tire barrier there. And you do see a little damage on that left front corner. Heinrich coming around. We're going to see second stops here for these LMPs very, very shortly. They got 23 laps the first time around. Yes, they pitted after lap 23, so we're looking at lap 46. That's about 5 laps from now. They're currently running lap 42 up front. And Heinrich quicker again that time by 0.2 of a second as we come through traffic. And they're coming through the GTE leaders. They're not just coming through traffic, they're coming through the sharp end of the field here. There is Senninger. GTE is not that far behind in laps. They pitted after lap 24. But of course, as they spread apart now, you can see the GTE's 3 laps behind. The pit times will be further up the road. But definitely won't be a full fill, I wouldn't think, when they come down. They should be able... I won't talk off the top of my head until I do the math. You can see there, as everybody comes through, the 25 has recaught the 59, so that will be a battle for 6th place as both race leaders come 3 wide past the Corvette of Steve Groninga. He hugs the yellow line, and the race leaders are both through. There's Nathan in the background on the outside of Seidel. He seems to catch all these cars in turn 1. It's been killing some of his lap times here. He gets by Seidel and Groninga. Seidel now side by side as we'll head to the kink. This is a battle for position. Groninga's going to keep it in there. Seidel wide on the... doesn't touch the grass, and he's got the inside for the West Horseshoe, and that will be 6th place. Fantastic stuff. Meanwhile, they've got to worry about Jennifer McDonald coming through. So great defense, and then still with his head on his shoulders enough to keep out of the way of the 2nd place car coming through. Fantastic stuff there. The gap up to 3 seconds now in LMP. That turn 1 and International Horseshoe really opening that gap up in LMP. Nathan Jew is going to have to start putting in some laps. You can see he did do a 33.897 that last time around, but the news is not going to be as good this time. As McDonald getting a great tow, first from Seidel and now from, I believe that's Ellico. Yes, it is. And another 0.2 of a second. The gap's down to 2.3. Dean Zayats now is caught back up. All this traffic, he's actually gained a little bit of time. We'll see if he can get through clean enough to keep that advantage he's had. But already backing off, and as we head to turn 6, he's going to stay in behind McDonald. So the 13-second gap was momentarily down to 11.5, but the traffic giveth, the traffic taketh away. Still 12.5 seconds. Almost in the same screen now. That GTE battle getting closer and closer. It is now just over 2 seconds. There they are on the same screen. On board with the 99. Seninger actually slightly quicker that last lap by 0.05 of a second. But the BMW has been getting closer and closer for the last 20 minutes. Very shallow entry there. You can almost visibly see her closing that gap. LMP's doing the pits in about a lap and a half. We'll get to that. Right now we're watching the battle for first place in the GTE class on board with the 99 of Jennifer McDonald. Toby Seninger, the car in front. This is going to be a great day in the points for Jennifer no matter what happens. The 108 car of Schleicher has retired. So that 1 point lead is going to increase. And now 1.76 seconds from possibly having a run at the race win. It would be her second of the year. And the same can be said for the car she is chasing, the 91, who won the last race at Sebring. As we cut over, this is Heinrich coming out of Daytona 4. And he is coming in. So at the end of lap 45, the LMPs are going to start heading to pit road very inside there. Trying to minimize all of that. And in behind is Nathan Jew. Can he pick up any time in the pits? Sock Riders in the pits. There's Mannery. I will suspend my disgust in the lack of realism that you can drive through cars in pit road. But anyway, I digress. There is the third place car of Dean Zayats as well. Everybody stopped. We're going to stick with this. McDonald 2 seconds behind on track. We're watching that gap. But this is not the final stop for these guys. They will all have to take a splash and go third pit stop. And away goes Heinrich. Nathan behind him. Thomas Brommel has gone around again and momentarily taken the race lead. 33.5 and 33.6, Heinrich and Ju respectively. But again, the pit road time, 0.8 of a second quicker for Heinrich. So he does extend that gap a little bit as he's coming around the 28 of Hayden Fowler. Pushes wide on the exit. But it looks like the 32 is going to get a little bit more of an advantage from that pit stop. Meanwhile, up front, we expect the GTEs probably in 5 more laps. There's Brommel in behind. He's just now coming into the pits. A little bit of a rear lockup. And there you go. That's what's great about this league. We've seen some things we don't usually see here today, but Nick Mannery right there. Didn't stuff it into turn 1. He sat behind the second place car of GTE and then went to pass it at a cleaner spot of the track. Flashes lights to say, okay, now I'm coming. That's the level of driving you expect in this league. And good stuff there from the 6th place car in LMP. 2.8 seconds the gap. It has definitely opened up a little bit as the GTEs prepare for what will be their final pit stop. Everybody's scrambling to get new tire wear data and fuel data for the 24 hours. This race, a perfect run-up, a triple stint for the GTEs and sort of a pseudo-quad stint for the LMPs, although the last stop is a very short one. So it's really just a long triple stint. Keith Rainey now, and we're just seeing that gap. You can see the gap now is only 21 seconds. However, he has just finished a pit stop, and so he's one up on Seeley on that front. So that's sort of an artificial gap, I believe. Sockrider riding a very comfortable 7th place. He has really cleared that gap from the Night Racing Esports cars behind him. And he goes through, letting off on the kink. Passing in that corner there was quite an issue before the drivers' meeting today. And everybody behaving themselves, doing what they're supposed to do. Watch Toby Seninger. This will be completing his 46th lap, so let's see if he makes his way. Well, no, sorry, 24. We're expecting him around lap 48. So another 2 laps for the GTEs. There's the gap, now 3.5. So he's still pulling away a full second the last time around. See what the lap times are here. These were pretty clean laps for both the GTE cars. It's a 40.6. That's a very good lap as they get low on fuel. And in behind a 40.9 for McDonald. So Seninger continues to stretch that gap a little bit. The Sockrider now comes up to the back of the 99. And that is the race leader, Heinrich, in behind. Down through the bumps of turn 6 and up onto the banking. Sockrider's going to move up and get by the BMW. Heinrich, 3.5 second lead, will sit behind in the tow and now move out and get past before the bus stops. Volter's off again, so it's gone bad to worse for the 24. And that might be the end there as well. I've really got to kind of feel for him today as he was leading this race and put back where he wasn't supposed to be through no fault of his own and trying to make up some ground, and it looks like it's just gone from bad to worse. Probably some damage on that car too, which makes it even harder. And looks like the day might be done for the 24 car. As our race leaders share the same screen, Heinrich goes through, Toby Seninger right in behind. I am on pins and needles for when these guys come down pit road. It could be this lap, as they are on lap 48 right now. Sockrider will come through, Seninger pulls it out wide on the exit. Nathan Jude right behind this. We've been given a little bit of a reprieve on that battle for the last little while, but it is only 3 seconds, and you can see it's come up a little, or come down a little bit. Nathan with the benefit of a couple of cars to tow down this back straightaway. "38 minutes remaining. And we'll see if Seninger's in this time. And we're going to follow them right down to the pit board. And yes, cross the yellow line. Down to pit road speed right there, 76. McDonald in right behind. And he's done it again. McDonald very carefully in, so that'll be advantage BMW. It was very quick. You saw the lockup. No tires. Everybody doing this race on one set. Fowler in behind. He's just 2 pit boxes back. They leave together. Seninger with a great jump. And although the advantage is gone, he's still got the lead. Both cars out together with 37 minutes remaining here at Daytona. A great getaway by Toby. Settles in as we come on to Daytona 1 and 2. It's a 1.1 second visual gap. These cars are good to go to the end of the race. We're still watching up front. Nathan G, 3 seconds behind Heinrich. This is the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. An update in the back, Connor Seidel has caught and passed Costa in the 76 car. So up to fourth for the 25 of Connor Seidel. BMW definitely looking a little more handy on the brakes there, and that gap closed visually through turn 1. And we'll see if she can get in the tow and make a run at the lead here. What a battle we've had in both classes today up front. Fowler has come out of the pits behind. It's 19 seconds back to him. So very much a two-car race for the win here at Daytona today. Fowler pretty much has things all on his own now with Volters retiring. We mentioned Connor Seidel. He's just now coming to the pits. And this is his third stop. We know he's at a drive-through, so maybe he gained that position through a pit stop. Groningen and Groningen at least coming down the pits. Costa. I'll get my name straight. Bear with me. So we'll see where Seidel comes out in that GTE battle. Back up front, it is McDonald in the tow, heading into turn 1. I don't know if it's me making things up. The front end of that BMW looks a little more pointy and a little nicer through that very hard on the brakes first corner. That's where you see a majority of the problems here at Daytona is there, and turn 6 just before you come back onto the banking. Brommel and Rotter are together for a battle for 4th place. There they are. So we'll watch that as well. Just 1.2 seconds between those two. And it continues to wax and wane up front. Now under 3 seconds again. We'll get to the LMP battle if anything happens up there. There is that battle for 4th place in the LMP. Rotter actually the quickest car on circuit last time around at 34.3. So he took a nice chunk of time out as Senator goes wide. McDonald takes the lead. Thought we were noticing a little more stability in the BMW there the last 2 laps, and there it comes to bite the 91. Senator now in 2nd. A very narrow line in there. We really like having Dean in the lead here, but this is now the cars to watch. As we get a brief look at the 13 there running in 3rd in LMP. We're going to override that camera on the software and get back up here. As Senator will have the tow coming through Daytona Oval 3 and 4. Well, we've had a chance to watch the in-car of McDonald. We'll head over to the inside of that Porsche as we go through the bus stop. Rommel is through. And we've got action back there. I don't know if they came together, but Brommel has spun in the International Horseshoe. Rotter is through in 4th place. And unfortunately, we don't have a replay of that. With 30 minutes remaining here at Daytona. All that excitement to get back on board. Definitely close enough to have the tow here. We'll see if he's going to try and make a move if there's any fuel saving. He's got to get up there first. Here it comes. Very handy through there that time and keeps right on the bumper. We'll see if he can maintain that through the infield and then maybe a move into the bus stop. A little bit of dirt as McDonald uses all of the circuit there. Through the bumpy turn 6 again, just a little bit of dirt. But great acceleration from the M8 and the Porsche now having to use that toe to suck back up again. Two are both good on incident points as far as my charts show. Shouldn't have any issues with any pending drive-throughs if they happen to collect a little too much dirt on the bus stop exit or anything like that. Again, pulling in the 99 under the toe. Well, I hate to break away from this up front. It's just coming up behind him, so we'll get to see both battles in the same screen. Nathan Jew is pulling in the 32 car now with 26 minutes remaining. That gap down to 1 second. The quickest car on the circuit was the 81, who did a 34.5 last time around. Fast lap of the race is still held by Andre in the 32 car, a 133.388. 22 thousandths quicker. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. A 33.366 for Nathan Jew. 22 thousandths quicker than Andre Heinrich's 1:33.388. So as they come through the bus stop with a 1 second gap, there are Seninger and McDonald, all 4 leaders on the same screen. Heinrich is through. Here comes Nathan Jew on the outside of Seninger. Johansson in front. Wide goes Johansson to get out of the way. He's got all 4 leaders coming through. Seninger trying to take advantage there. Well out of the way. Great job by the 27 as through comes Seninger on the bumper. Got a replay we're hearing. Oh, we do have a replay of this. This is what happened with the LMPs. That is Brommel, who came into contact with Chris Costa. It looks like they were trying to split the Corvette. He went to the inside, Rotter went to the outside, and probably terrified about what he saw coming through his rearview mirror, and there was contact in the horseshoe. So now we know what happened there in that battle for 4th place in LMP. As Nathan Jew continues and Seninger through into turn 1 on the inside. Seninger gets McDonald, fights back to the International Horseshoe, but the Porsche back out front. 2 battles going on. Nathan continues to be the fastest car on the circuit. Uses a toe to pull back up. We're going to be jumping back and forth a lot here in the next 20 minutes, I have a feeling. As Heinrich, a 34.1, 33.9, and Jew is right there now under the brakes. Here's Costa, who's got another LMP battle coming up in his mirrors right at the same corner. Pulls it left at pit exit. Both cars will be through. The good news there, they caught him a little quicker, or a little earlier in the circuit than Rotter and Brommel did. Down into the brakes. Right up there. We'll head to the banking where Nathan Jew will have the tow. Boy, this 2 hours has gone by quick, huh? 20 minutes left. These guys will finish off the season at Road America in 2 weeks. It's a busy 2 weeks here as everybody running in the 24 Hours of Daytona next weekend. And then a quick turnaround to get up to Road America at Elkhart Lake and finish off the season. No move there. Meanwhile, back in the tow through Daytona 4. A little look on the outside. Toby has the inside covered. We know how good the BMW is under the brakes there. Nothing happening. Somebody's got to come up with a split screen for these streams. Back onto the banking, grabbing the dirt just with that left front tire. Right up to the wall to use the banking to add a little extra acceleration down the hill. And a great exit there. Heinrich pulls a little bit of a gap. But just like it was in the first half hour, it's 0.3 seconds between these two. And right in the toe. See how close he can get. It looks like a good run. We still got the tri-oval. Nathan Jew pulls to the outside. It's an excellent run, but Heinrich has the braking zone. Is it going to be a crossover? No, he's got full control of it. No, he's out wide. Jew now to the inside. Will take it out to the grass, goes to 32. And the 81 takes the lead here with 18:50 remaining. Meanwhile, coming into the same corner, the 99. A puff of smoke from Toby. And Seninger now with McDonald right on the bumper. A little look as she goes left. Maybe to open up that corner for a better exit. As they squirm on the brakes. The LMPs hit the bus stop on lap 64. Very shallow exit there by the Porsche. Nathan tries to pull away that gap here. This now the closest battle. I can't believe that a 0.4 of a second gap in LMP is not the closest battle for the race lead on this track. But there you have it. McDonald trying to force an error from Seninger. In the toe down the main straight, down into turn 1. Got a lap car in front too, so we'll see if Andre can use that to his advantage. It's got the yellow rear fender, so that's be Seeley. Meanwhile, McDonald, a great exit from the bus stop. The longest draft zone on the circuit. We'll see if she can make a move here into turn 1. Looking to the outside. Nothing that time around. 15 minutes remaining. Remember, we've got LMP splash and go stops to come as well. So we'll see how that affects things. The GTEs are good to go. This battle is on track. Nothing's going to get in the way of it, but we do still need to negotiate pit road one more time for a very short fuel fill in the LMP class. Good exit is 0.19. We've got to go up to the other one, Jew, and they have gotten by the 72 of Seeley. Both probably using a bit of a toe there, but no move. Every bit of the circuit being used by Jew there. Seeley, I'm sure, is thrilled to have that in his windscreen and not in his mirror anymore. Nick Mannery, the first of the LMPs to come in for that splash and go. He pits from 6th place. McDonald looks wide again. There's Mannery exiting the pits. Little bit of a wiggle from the Porsche. Boy, oh boy, this is good stuff. Side by side, Heinrich on the front straightaway. Jew sticks his nose in. And a great corner by Nathan. Both battles going right down to the wire. Dennis Rotter coming through in the 11. That shouldn't be a problem. It's going to give a little extra toe. Who's that? That's Mannery in the red kite car. And if nothing, that'll now help the 91 with a little bit of a toe into turn number 1. One hour and 50 minutes in. And this is how far apart these two cars are in both classes. Not quite the toe this time around for Andre, as they are staying out. And also not quite as close this time around for the GTEs either. Maybe just one little breath before the final assault. Less than 11 minutes to go. Johansson in the pits, and we've heard it was spectacular. As we'll cut away here for a quick second. That's Rotter, who we saw high, low. He's been hit by 2 LMPs. Oh my goodness. And perhaps an inauspicious end to a debut in the KRL. It looked like the 27 went high and then decided with 2 cars he'd maybe go back low again, and Rotter was already there. And, ooh, that was a big one. As we cross over the 10-minute to go mark, McDonald and with that replay, the LMPs are in the pits. Rotter is out. Sorry, Jew is in the pits. There he is, just leaving now. Heinrich stayed out. Zayats has made his pit stop from 3rd place. So we will watch as Heinrich will probably be in the next lap. And where is that going to put them out? Meanwhile, McDonald is again in the tow and on the bumper of Toby Seninger. And once again, got LMP cars coming through just when she can pick up the toe of Sockrider there. Clearly alongside. But a little bit of a boost for sure for the 91 car, making that pass more difficult. And, oh, just on the bumper. No contact, but boy, that was close. Meanwhile, Heinrich coming around. We'll see if he dives into the pits. He will. So Nathan Jew was stopped for 11.9 seconds. Heinrich in the pits now. McDonald through the International Horseshoe, still on the tail. Heinrich just now coming down to his pit box. 11.9, the time to beat. Nathan Jew just now coming by pit entry. 10.2 seconds, 1.7 seconds less time stopped. There is Nathan right there. They will race out of the pit exit. And Andre Heinrich has taken the lead. Meanwhile, Ho-Hum back in GTE, just a 0.2 second gap as Jennifer again in the tow. And they have some clear track here. Dennis Rotter, the next car to come up on them, but he's just now exiting NASCAR 3. So maybe she'll have a clean lap here where she can get up alongside and try and get a pass made. Nothing doing here into turn 1. Saw how close they were the last time around. Heinrich and Jew approach the bus stop on the back straightaway. 6 minutes left in a thriller here at Daytona. We'll stick with this. Nathan with a great tow again through Daytona 4. NASCAR 4, he's up high already. Heinrich tries to protect the inside, but the 81 is going to be passed. He's got the line before the braking zone. Nathan Jew back to the lead in LMP. Meanwhile, Seninger with a great exit from the bus. No, as they approach the bus stop, a great exit onto the banking. As Thomas Brommel makes his final pit stop from 4th place. Rotter should overtake him, I believe. Yeah, he's just passing the pits right now and will retake that position. Everybody is now on the same schedule. All 3 pit stops done for the LMPs. There is Rotter just in behind this battle for the lead in GTE. Nice wide arc there by Seninger. You can see that gives him a little more speed as they get up to the banking. Perfectly in the toe again. We'll see how the 99 to the outside. Just doesn't seem to be able to get that extra bit on the top side. Very good under the brakes. You can see how close the BMW gets. An early flash up to Chris Costa there. Just to say, dude, this is happening now. Here we come. What an incredible battle. Meanwhile, Heinrich, a quicker lap. Let's have a quick look. He is on the tail again of the 81. Where do we look? Two minutes 25. The LMP should be getting the 1 to go next time around. Which, ooh, and a little bit of a power slide there. That's going to give Nathan Jew a little extra gap here. As time is running out. Seninger and McDonald are now at Costa and will easily clear the Corvette on the main straightaway. You can see he brakes early to give Jennifer the braking zone. Fantastic stuff. The GTEs will get 1 to go the next time around as they are behind the LMP cars. Just coming through Daytona 4 right now. And that is 1 to go for Nathan Jew in the 81 car. Seninger and McDonald just now entering turn 6. And she's got a tow as well, as they will get the one to go as they come by the main straight. Nathan Jew with a little bit of an extra gap there. Into the bus stops go the GTEs with one to go as they cross the line. Meanwhile, through Daytona 2, it's almost a 1 second gap as a great final 2 laps by the 81. And it's going to be his 5th win of the season. Starting the week at Daytona with his new team in style. Your race winner at Daytona, the number 81, Nathan Jew, just ahead of the 32 of Andre Heinrich. Meanwhile, back in GTE, on their final lap, Jen McDonald, one last chance to get by Toby Seninger in the 91. Dean Zayats has finished in 3rd place. A quick flash for Groninga. Dennis Rotter will finish 4th. Thomas Brommel 5th. In LMP, Nick Mannery crosses the line in 6th ahead of David Sockrider. Keith Rainey and Paul Seeley will be the final finishers. Dean Ellico in 10th. The fireworks going off in the background as the LMPs have concluded the race. Toby Seninger, a great run out of the bus stop. And after one of the toughest races you will see, one of the closest races, Toby Seninger makes it back-to-back wins in the Sports Car Championship. Just ahead of Jennifer McDonald in the 99, who will extend her point lead as we head to Road America. Hayden Fowler will come home in 3rd, ahead of Chris Costa and Connor Seidel in the GTE class. Here are your final results. Nathan Jew, what a spectacular run. Heinrich, Zayat, Rotter, Brommel, Nick Mannery in 6th, David Stockrider, Keith Rainey, Paul Seeley, and Dean Ellico. Those are your cars who were left running at the end. Dawson Hess with some electrical problems, we believe. Schwarz also had some issues, but he had that off at the beginning. Bambois will be in front of the Stewarts, so we'll see how that turns out. In GTE, Seninger, a spectacular win over McDonald. Hayden Fowler, your final podium car. Chris Costa with his best finish in the Night Racing League in 4th place ahead of Connor Seidel. Steve Groninga finishes in 6th. Chris Thompson, Robin Johansson with that spectacular crash on the front straightaway will be classified in 8th place. Wolters, Hensel, Schleitzer, and Sonnen did not finish. And the drivers are back in pit road, and this is going to be a great one. Let's talk to our race winners after what was a spectacular 2 hours here at Daytona.
My reels were so much gone.
Yeah, I think that's that's the only reason that I had you at the end there is because yeah, coming out onto, I guess, out of 7, I just seem to have an advantage there. But everywhere else, man, you were, oof. Oof, I was worried.
We're just dropping in and talking to Nathan Jew and Andre Heinrich, the incredible battle in LMP2, and I'm going to stay out of the way. I want to hear all about it. How long did that battle go on?
Pretty much.
Race, I mean,
Yeah.
what was the biggest the gap got? 3 seconds, maybe?
Yeah, 3 seconds. I was so glad you dropped out of my draft once, and I could extend the gap to 3 seconds.
Well, and I think it's funny because I think when I lost your draft, it was because of traffic, and when I got your draft back, I think it was because of traffic. I don't think
Yes.
we were like right on the same pace, and yeah, it was. Oh, man, yeah. I think in the middle of that race, when the three you had that gap, I sort of thought maybe this is it, but yeah, I mean, this is stuck in there, and you know, the traffic taketh, but the traffic also giveth. So.
Yes.
How was it overall? How was it getting through? I mean, people were giving way, but how much did it affect any strategy at all?
Well,
No, I mean, with these guys, I think, with the exception of Mid Ohio, everyone's so quick. You just gotta drive fast, you know. I mean, I saved a lot of fuel in the first stint behind Andre when I had his draft, but other than that, I was just pushing.
Yeah, he stopped, I think, a lap after you did for the last stop, didn't he?
yes,
Yep.
I saved also in his draft and could make the extra lap. That was pretty strategic. But yeah, and I came out in front of him after my stop. So, but yeah, he was so close behind. He was in my draft, and he overtook me. I think the half a lap later.
Yeah,
So-
something like that. I think it was the end of that lap. I figured I had to get it done soon, or maybe never, you know. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun.
Well, spectacular to watch. Great to have you both here for the interview. That's awesome to hear it right from both of you. So congratulations, Nathan, on the win, and congratulations both on a fantastic race.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcel. Thanks, Andre. See you guys in the next one.
Nathan Jew and Andre Heinrich, first and second in a spectacular LMP battle here at Daytona. And now let's check in with our two-time race winner in GTE, Toby Seninger in the 91 car. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, man.
You said you were going to have to win another race so you could do an interview after the last one, and here you are. Tell us about your day.
I'm completely done. The first stint was mostly fuel saving behind Jennifer and Jens, and then on the second one, when Jennifer missed her pit, I just pushed like hell. I'm completely done. My tires are done.
Well, you left it all out there. That's endurance racing. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe 10 minutes later, and I crashed the car. I will crash the car. I'm completely done. I was so on the limit.
Well, you held on. It's great to finally hear your voice, and congratulations on the back-to-back wins, the first driver to do that in the GTE class.
Thank you.
That's Toby Seninger, driver of the 91 Porsche RSR and winner here at Daytona. Well, a spectacular race, taxing race, as we heard there from Toby. And boy, oh boy, what an afternoon here, or an evening here at Daytona. What does it do to the point standings? Nathan Jew, of course, has clinched the title, but Andre Heinrich builds himself a little bit of a buffer here in LMP with the second place finish. He's now got 16 points over Thomas Brommel at 104. Dennis Rotter is solidly in fourth. Paul Seeley, although getting beat by Keith Rainey, the gap doesn't come down that much. He maintains that top 5 spot. Schwartz, of course, had trouble. Rainey and Mannery only 5 points apart in 7th and 8th place. The GTE class is now a 27-point lead for Jennifer McDonald. Hayden Fowler right there, as is Toby Seninger, just a point behind. 1 point separates all of those. Kevin Hensel just behind Connor Seidel, another 1 point gap with Jens Wolters, although having a bad day, is still in that fight for a top 5 position. very, very close in the GTEs, as everybody will head to the 24 hours next week, and then the final race to sort out Season 1 here in the KRL at Road America. That race will be on the 30th of January. You can see it right here on YouTube on the 31st, where we will congratulate our Season 1 champions and the top fives. Then a little bit of a break, a few weeks before Season 2 will kick off at Suzuka. So I hope you enjoyed today's race, and good luck to everybody participating in the 24 Hours of Daytona. We will see you all here on the Night Racing YouTube channel in 2 weeks for the season finale at Road America. Thanks for watching.